is Sarah Willoughby. I'm the author of the book He's Making Diamonds, A Teen's Thoughts on Faith Through Chronic Illness, and the host of the Diamonds Conference. We are coming up on our 5th Diamonds event. Diamonds is a free online conference for chronically ill Christians, and our next event is January 2022, which is coming so fast. If you haven't registered, you can do so for free down at the link in my bio to go to my website. I hope to see you there. It's a really great way to get to engage, get to know each other, get to know me, get to know each other, get to hear from some amazing speakers on how to navigate all of this, how to navigate life and faith in God when chronic illness is part of the picture. But today, we're not talking about that. We're talking about writing when you have a chronic illness or when you have health challenges of some kind. Writing is hard. Chronic illness is hard. Put them together and they can seem impossible, but I am living proof that they're not. So today, I actually want to talk about 4 ways that our illness or our health challenges strengthen and benefit our writing. I think, I've talked a lot about the different issues that illness can have on our writing, the way that it makes it difficult to think clearly, the way that it makes it difficult to have the physical energy to even sit up and type or to write, the joint pain that can make it difficult to compose things and put it together, the way that our health limits us from networking, from being able to go to writing conferences or whatever. There's so many different challenges that come along with that, and that's what so many of my videos on this channel are about. So if any of those resonate with you, click on my picture and scroll through, and if you don't find a video that matches what you're thinking and feeling, message me. Let's make a video that matches that. But there's actually ways that chronic illness can benefit us as writers. I've gotten to see this in my own life. I know that I wouldn't be writing the things that I am for sure without a chronic illness in my life, but I also wouldn't be able to to reach the people that I'm able to because of what I've gone through. Whether you've gone through chronic illness or not, if there's something that's hindering your writing, often our weaknesses are also our strengths. So let's talk about those 4 things. Number 1, compassion. When you have gone through something hard, it gives you so much more compassion for the reader and also for your characters. When you have the compassion and empathy that chronic illness brings, you're able to write in a way that is easy for people to swallow. And I'm specifically talking about nonfiction writing in this case, but when you write about something hard, you're able to have a humility, you're able to also have an experience that people can look at and go, okay, this person isn't just pulling it out of thin air, they know what they're talking about. And so it gives you compassion for your readers. But it also can, that also leaks through in fiction writing, the compassion that chronic illness brings. And so with that, I want to talk about the depth. Number 2, depth of understanding. And I think that this applies to both fiction and nonfiction writers, that chronic illness gives us a depth of understanding that we might not have otherwise. I know that I struggle to relate to typical 20-year-olds. I struggle to connect with people my age because I was forced to grow up too fast. And I know that so many others were. And if you're watching this and you're 20 or whatever, this is just a generalization, but it forces us to mature. It forces us to think deeply, no matter what age we are, to think deeply about life, about the world, about people, to understand how we function and the people around us function if we're going to survive. If we're going to survive, we have to deal with it. We can't just say, I'm going to shove it down and ignore it because that's easier, but we actually have to deal with it. So it gives us a depth of understanding. A depth of understanding can help us create characters that are real, that resonate and connect with people. It can also help us to know exactly how to get our message across to our readers. And be able to really connect with them on a deep level because we understand them more, even if their experience is different than ours, but especially if they've gone through some kind of physical suffering or mental, emotional pain, because chronic illness includes that. And so it gives us the ability to understand people as well as to come with compassion. And so number 3 is realistic representation. It enables us to realistically represent suffering, not just understand, not just offer compassion, but actually be like, yeah, this is how it is. And someone who has experienced it go, yeah, they're right, this is how it is. Instead of, how many times like I sword fight. And so after I learned how to sword fight, watching movies and TV shows with sword fighting, I can't enjoy it anymore. It's not like, oh, that's cool. It's like, that's wrong and they're not doing that and they could have got them there. Why didn't they do that? And it just messes it up for me. But chronic illness, gives us the ability to not do that, to have people come and say, that's how it is, that's what's happening. And this again is applicable to both fiction and nonfiction writers. For nonfiction writers, we're able to describe what we've experienced, bluntly give realistic representation of suffering, of grief, of pain, of health issues. But then also for fiction writers, I think that there's so many there's points where I've been like in excruciating pain, and you know what I'm thinking in that moment? I'm sitting there going, oh, so now I know how to write about it. Like I can have a character go through this or that or whatever, because I love adventure, fantasy, dystopian, that kind of thing. And I'm like, I know exactly how to describe this because I'm experiencing it right now. And I think that authors are often unkind to their characters, and so frequently they go through pain. Chronic illness lets you write about that in a way that's realistic and accurate. Which is not great, but at the same time, if you're a writer, I think you're gonna get what I'm saying, because we're a weird breed. And so finally, number 4 is it gives us extra time. And so this is sometimes counterbalanced by the fact that we have often less energy. And so having extra time doesn't necessarily mean we get to accomplish more in that period of time, because we do have to deal with battling our bodies. And I did an entire video on that recently, on energy and finding the energy to write when you're chronically ill. So make sure you check that out. I'll link it at the end of this video, but it gives us extra time. And in that extra time, we get to do things like read, because that's really strengthening your writing. We get to do things like lay there and daydream and brainstorm, and that's work, and that's not easy, and you don't always have the energy to do that, but we often will have more time to think deeply, to think well, to consume other materials that will help us to write well. And then we also can tend to have more time to write. There was a period of my life where I couldn't do anything. I couldn't physically get up and do anything. But what I could do was lay there in my bed and type. And in that typing, I wrote He's Making Diamonds. I published He's Making Diamonds because that was something I could do from my bed. And so I think sometimes chronic illness definitely limits writing, even if it's, in bed. But it does give us more time and some opportunities in that way that we might not have otherwise. So I'm sure there are others. I would love to hear your additional thoughts down below on ways that your chronic illness has strengthened your writing or benefited you as a writer. And go ahead and like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.